You guys, I think it's pretty safe to say from what we saw last night that the 2022 NBA draft was one of the more entertaining drafts that we've seen in the last couple of years. Because from some of the unpredictable selections that specific teams were making to the constant trades that were seeming to happen almost every 10 minutes, I mean, personally, I could not take my eyes off the screen last night. And also, it's given us so much to look forward to and think about with the 2022 NBA Summer League less than 2 weeks away. But out of everything that we could discuss immediately after the draft, there was one team in particular and the moves they made last night that caught my eye more than anybody else. And of course, as you can probably tell from the title of the video, yes, it is the Oklahoma City Thunder. And believe me, it's not just because they made the most noise last night, as they ended up with 4 first-round picks when it was all said and done, but also I feel like not everyone understands the full capabilities of their draft picks, and on top of that, what Oklahoma City is already planning for the near future. One sec though guys, if you haven't yet, don't forget to like the video if you do enjoy, subscribe, and turn on those notifications to never miss another NBA video. Love you guys. And for any of you that do, believe me, I appreciate you guys more than anything, because according to my numbers, over 95% of you guys coming back to watch the content haven't even subscribed yet. So again, thank you to all of you. But anyway, to get back on topic with Oklahoma City, because in case you somehow missed the draft last night, we'll give you a quick recap of what OKC was able to do within the first round. As with the second overall pick in the draft, they selected the widely anticipated Chet Holmgren, ended up trading away 3 future first-round picks to get their hands on Ousmane Dieng with the 11th overall pick. If I butchered his name, which I probably did, I apologize. Selected Jalen Williams out of Santa Clara, 12th overall, and lastly had their hands on the 30th overall pick, where they selected Peyton Watson out of UCLA. And first things first, when we take a look at what OKC did in this draft with their first 3 selections, which may I remind you were all lottery picks, while the first one was one of the biggest names in this draft class, their next 2 selections, a fair majority of you watching this video might have never heard of them before. And while I saw reactions kind of all over the place from the NBA world regarding what Oklahoma City had done with these 2 mid-round picks, the majority of OKC fans were nothing short of ecstatic after these draft results, and believe me, there are many reasons for them to feel this way. Because while we are going to go into a little bit of a deep dive with each of their first-round picks, let's just look at this from an overall perspective right off the bat. Because if you know anything about these 3 selections or have picked up anything about them over the last week or so, you now probably know that they are all defensive focused as a part of their play style, and on top of that can fit perfectly into what OKC is trying to build. Because with all 3 of these guys, they are all versatile, they can all do things with and without the ball in their hands, hence why they fit into the OKC system so well, and also they are already very solid and proven shooters, or they have the potential to become one. And when I say this, I'm obviously focusing on Chet Holmgren and Jalen Williams. As you can already see from the numbers, their splits both from the field and from behind the arc are pretty ridiculous. Ousmane, on the other hand, is a little bit of a work in progress, but we will get into that in just a second. But now getting into more of these individual player focuses about why these players will fit so great into what OKC is trying to do. Starting off with Chet Holmgren, as most of us knew this was going to happen for the last couple of weeks, even months. He's one of the unique situations where strictly because of his size, he is getting so much hate and criticism before even playing a game. And while yes, I can see some of the reasons for the points being made, it just pulls so much focus away from what Chet Holmgren is actually going to be able to bring to the table for OKC. Because I mean, aside from the fact that he is a 7-foot-tall monster with a 7'6" wingspan and has a level of coordination you would not think he should have, his defense and inside presence, even though his size is not up to par with the rest of the league, is going to be felt even in the NBA. And coming off his first and only season at the collegiate level, putting up 14 points, 10 boards, and just under 4 blocks per game. Again, it's probably going to take some time to see where he shines the brightest, but with all of the immediate doubt people are having for this guy, as a neutral fan, it's just making me root for him that much more. Aside from Chet though, I want to get into what was my favorite selection by OKC last night, which was Jalen Williams out of Santa Clara. Because with this guy, while again many people might not have heard of him, considering in March he was projected to be a mid-second round pick, he would have offered plenty to no matter what team took him, but with him being drafted to OKC, it's going to make this team that much more exciting to watch. Because for them to get Jalen Williams, who is a 6'6" 2 guard at Santa Clara, averaging 18 points, 4.5 rebounds, and 4 assists per game last season, where he's going to shine brightest for OKC will not just be on the defensive end, but it will be in the shooting category. Because while we did show his very impressive shooting splits previously, this doesn't even do it justice to say how good of a shooter he actually is. As according to this chart, he was one of the best catch and three-point shooters in the entire NCAA last season. And along with him being able to thrive in the catch and shoot role along players like SGA and Josh Giddey, he's also more than capable of creating his own shot and scoring efficiently from all three levels. Like, this guy, if his game can transition to the NBA level, is going to be one of the biggest steals in this draft in my opinion. And the funny thing is that I think OKC still technically reached for him according to multiple mock drafts that I saw. Now, regarding their 11th overall selection and Ousmane Dieng, this one is definitely the most interesting to me. And it's not only because OKC gave up 3 first-round picks in next year's draft to get him, but of course, it's also about what he can bring to the table along with his history of play. And I'm not going to sit here and act like I know everything about Ousmane Dieng, because if I'm being honest, last night was the first time I've ever heard of him. And what many people in my shoes as well did is they immediately looked up Dieng's stats from his one season in the NBL last year, and as we showed his shooting splits prior in the video as well, obviously it doesn't look very good at first glance. But the thing is, while he is still very young and we need to take that into consideration, his numbers from his last 10 games in the NBL definitely show a lot more promise when you compare the two. And I mean, aside from the numbers, he is a 6'9", 18-year-old who can also create his own shot when need be, who has pretty impressive guard skills for his height, and will definitely be able to contribute to whatever defensive scheme they might throw at teams. And again, regarding Peyton Watson, who was their 30th overall pick, he seems like more of a developmental project more than anything, at least from what I was seeing. If you guys have anything to mention about him, I would love to hear about it in the comments. But nonetheless, I personally think that with everything we saw Oklahoma City do last night, while many would still say that they are in the early stages of their long-term rebuild, that with the top 3 selections they made last night, that this might have just rounded out the core group of guys that Sam Presti and the OKC front office believe are going to lead the Thunder for the next decade. Because I mean, now when you just sit back and take a look at the young core that OKC has been able to assemble, they now have a core of guys in SGA, Chet Holmgren, Josh Giddey, Dort, Ousmane Dieng, Jalen Williams, Darius Bazley, and even Trey Mann, and all of them are still 23 years old or younger. And yes, I do know that OKC still probably possesses like 14 to 17 first-round picks over the next 5 years, but I mean, and it could just be me, the feeling that OKC was giving me last night is that they are officially trying to step their way into the next process of this rebuild. But again, that's just my 2 cents, and I would love to hear what you guys have to think about what OKC did in the 2022 draft. So please let me know in the comments, which of OKC's draftees are you most excited to watch in the 2023 season and why? And also, what was the biggest surprise in general to you about the entire draft? But again, you guys, if you haven't yet, don't forget to go down below and leave a like on the video if you did enjoy, and of course, subscribe while you're down there. I mean, we have so much more about the draft to talk about. We have Summer League right around the corner. We have free agency right around the corner. We're going to be pumping out content like crazy, you guys, so just believe me when I say it, you do not want to miss out. But also, I just wanted to say thank you so much to each and every one of you for watching. I appreciate all of you guys more than anything. You all know this, and I will see you guys in the next video.